that makes references to what somebody got in their pocket.
Or what they don't got.
Right. Because that has nothing to do with their character. What they got, how much money they got has nothing to do with their character. Some of the realest in the world is broke.
X was a man of God, don't get me wrong. Like, he knew his father. I saw him manifest his whole life. But when he got up in that devil's playground, which is the music industry, I saw him gain the world and lose his soul.
The world know the dog, but we know a different dog. When he come to the town, he's much different than the one that they see on TV.
So right now there's a lot of noise around DMX in the press, and it almost feels like someone out there is trying to smear his legacy. One of these stories that recently surfaced is about how DMX supposedly left his wife in huge debt and did her dirty. And if you look closer, these rumors aren't coming from nowhere. See, there are certain people in the industry who had issues with DMX, people who were jealous of his success and who never got over their old beef with him. So now one of DMX's closest friends, Jadakiss, is speaking out on this and saying there's someone very powerful in the music business who's trying to tear down X's legacy with these rumors. Meanwhile, DMX's ex-wife, Tashera, also broke her silence, and her perspective is totally different than what these rumors claim. So let's break it all down. What Jadakiss actually said, what really happened with the money, and who might be behind these rumors.
Deep thought, though, and he said, Tashera, my soul, my vessel, he said, my vessel is so tired. He was like, and this may not make sense to you right now, Tashera. He said, but what I do know is my name will live on forever.
All right, so before we get into the money stuff, we gotta understand that Jadakiss and DMX were much closer than just colleagues. They were practically family. Jada and X both came out of Yonkers. Same streets, same struggle. And the way Jada tells it, DMX didn't just notice him, he went out of his way to find him. X personally brought Jada and Sheik Luch to Rough Riders co-founder Joaquin Wah Dean. And the only reason they didn't sign immediately is because they were too young and their parents wouldn't let them sign until they turned 18. Jadakiss later called this moment unconditional love. So this wasn't just a business relationship, it was real brotherhood.
X was already a star in Yonkers and in our eyes, maybe 7 to 10 years before he ever dropped out. He been rocking and selling tapes in the hood and doing shows. And so once he got with Rough Riders and we started getting nicer and rhyme, we was the first, it wasn't even like a formal meeting. He came to the block, yo dog, I got these dudes, y'all gonna be with me dog, we gonna be on Rough Riders. And then that was it. It wasn't like, they groomed us though for years. Like we did Jack the Rap seminars, we was just in the studio creating and battling other teams, just, you know what I mean, just always around together.
Jada and Sheik learned their stage presence from watching DMX perform live, and they studied that energy for a long time. And when the Lox had their versus battle against Dipset, Jada said DMX would have been damn proud. We actually learned that ish from him, Jada said. He rocked many a stage with 2 turntables and a DJ, and just him with a mic in a black hoodie, black dark glasses, and black Timberlands, and just rip shit with no words, just instrumentals. We really got that from him. He would have been damn proud of us. He would have been in the crowd going crazy. And to this day, Jada is still trying to wrap his mind around DMX being gone. He said in a recent interview that X was everything to him, and he will do everything in his power to protect his legacy.
Still very surreal to me. It don't feel real. It don't feel like he's gone until I start thinking about him or start playing his music. We still finishing the second leg of this Lox tour, 30th anniversary Lox tour, so we do a tribute to him every night, so he's with us. But yeah, he put us in the game, so, you know, he's everything. He means everything to us, and we gonna keep his name rocking on forever.
Fast forward to today, and Jadakiss is hosting a whole podcast about DMX's life. It's called Look Through My Eyes, Becoming DMX, and it's produced by 50 Cent's G-Unit Audio. It's a deep dive into X's early life and rise to stardom, told by the people who were actually there, and not by those who want to hijack his legacy now that he's gone. And this is exactly why Jada is doing this podcast, to clear up any rumors and fake stories planted by people who were jealous of DMX. And one of those stories that recently started floating around is about DMX's finances and how he supposedly left his wife in debt. But the real truth is much more complicated. At his peak, DMX was making money like nobody's business. His ex-wife, Tashera Simmons, said it herself in a recent interview that she remembers looking at their bank accounts and the zeros wouldn't stop. She said X was getting 10 million per movie, and that wasn't even counting his shows. He was making millions just off one performance. And according to Tashera, they were very close to being billionaires.
I remember looking at our bank accounts and the zeros wouldn't stop. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. He got 10 million a movie, and that wasn't even including all his shows. He made like millions just doing a show, and when he went on tour, I mean, he would come back with, I want to say we were very close to being billionaires. Like, it was, X made a lot. It was so much money. And
I'm not surprised because X, I mean, I'm not, it's okay. I'm not exaggerating when I say the levels of Jay-Z, who is a billionaire. So you guys were close to being billionaires.
So how do you go from that to 15 million in debt? Tashera opened up about this too, and she said DMX simply didn't have a good business sense at the time. No one taught him how to handle that much money, and he was surrounded by leeches in the industry. Now, to be fair, it wasn't just bad investments. DMX also spent money like it was water. However, he wasn't just spending it on himself. According to Tashera, X would pay for random people's funerals and taking care of everybody and their mama.
but a lot of bad business decisions. And he spent a lot of money and
On what though? Just like
taking care of everybody and their mama. That was him. I mean, he'll pay, somebody died, he'll pay their whole entire funeral.
But the real estate situation tells the full story. DMX and Tashera bought a home in Mount Kisco, New York for close to $700K in 2000. But by 2012, they were over 3 years behind on payments, and Compass Bank sued for foreclosure. They also lost a home in Arizona, and DMX had filed for bankruptcy 3 times. And at the time of his death, he reportedly owed $2 million in debt and had no will. On top of that, he also owed back taxes to the IRS. So all these rumors about how DMX supposedly tricked his wife and saddled her with all that debt on purpose are not true at all. Because if he really did that, you'd expect Tashera to be bitter. She lost the house, she was left to deal with the foreclosure, and she had to fight for child support after he abandoned them financially. But that's not what you hear when Tashera talks about X. And Tashera has been open about everything: the money problems, the foreclosure, the infidelity, but she also made it very clear that she doesn't blame DMX. In fact, she spent years in therapy working through it all, and she told her children that their father did the best he could. Tashera said, "To tie it in with my children, I get vulnerable, and they see the love that I had for their dad. And at first they didn't understand because he caused so much hurt. They were like, how do you still love our dad through all of that? And I said, because parents are just people. Yes, he tried his best. He was broken, and under the circumstances, he did a hell of a job with nothing." Tashera also talked about how DMX struggled with being in this soulless industry that tried to take everything from him. And when you see how some people are still trying to tear down his legacy, even now that he's gone, her words make perfect sense.
People are my teachers because I learned from him that you can't play around with God. You can't say that you walking with him, but you still playing with the devil. And X knew better. But you know, we in this fleshly body, and we manipulate ourselves to say that, you know, because X was a man of God. Don't get me wrong. Like, he knew his father. I saw him manifest his whole life. But when he got up in that devil's playground, which is the music industry, I saw him gain the world and lose his soul.
So the real story here is that Tashera isn't the bitter ex-wife the headlines want you to see. She's a woman who went through hell: cheating, money problems, foreclosure, abandonment, public humiliation, and she still came out the other side focused on healing. She wrote a memoir called Dying to Self, A Journey of Renewal, about her healing journey, and she's very much about the therapy, the faith, and the process of letting go. So DMX didn't trick his wife into debt. He was a man who was broken, who made terrible financial decisions, and who didn't know how to handle the evil music industry. However, the woman who had to clean it up still chooses to remember the man she married, not the mess he left. But now I want to hear your thoughts on all this. Do you think Tashera's doing a good job carrying on DMX's legacy? And who do you think is behind all these rumors and fake stories trying to smear X's name? Leave your comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.